Welcome to Deep Treks. I'm Dan Shipton, and this is our Thursday edition of Deep Treks. We are looking in James chapter 3, down in verse 13 today. Many people desire to be smart. They desire knowledge. Some people want to be knowledgeable about certain things. Some people want to be knowledgeable about as much as they can. For many people, knowledge is important. Governments spend millions of dollars a year to educate their populations, usually because they want people to be educated to help in their workforce and make their whole society better. The truth of the matter is that this has been going on for generation upon generation, thousands of years. If you go back to the Greeks, the Romans, even far back to the Sumerians and the Babylonians, they were building education centers and they were building places for people to come together and worship. And the Jews were no different. They had a class of people that were working, but they also had a class of people who were educated. It wasn't just those who were in the religious areas, but everyone was taught to read because it was expected that the men would grow up and be a part of the elders at one point in time. And so they would be taught to read and they would be taught so that they could read the Torah. And then there were a lot of educated people who worked in their government facilities as well. We see that when the Babylonians come and take them over because we see people like Daniel and others who were well educated taken away. And so today we are going to jump over and we're going to talk about education a little bit, and we're going to talk about knowledge and what's the difference. And there is a difference between the two. So let's jump over to James chapter 3, verse 13 to 18. Who is wise and understanding among you? Let him show it by his good life, by deeds done in humility that come from wisdom. But if you harbor bitter envy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast about it or deny the truth. Such wisdom does not come down from heaven, but is earthly, unspiritual, of the devil. For where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you find disorder and every evil practice. But wisdom that comes from heaven is first of all pure, then peace loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and sincere. Peacemakers who sow in peace raise a harvest of righteousness. Now, as we look at this, I want us to understand, first of all, there are different ways to look at wisdom and knowledge. Even as far back as the Greeks, we know that there was a difference between them. They wanted knowledge, they also wanted wisdom. Sometimes I describe wisdom as far as outside of Christianity or outside of faith as being as being the one who is knowledgeable and knows how to use the knowledge and when to use the knowledge. You see, it's okay to say that somebody's knowledgeable, but there's a difference between being knowledgeable and knowing when and how or how much to use of that knowledge. Sometimes it's better for us not to say something than it is to say something. That's using wisdom. James is taking us to an even deeper part because he's saying there's a worldly or a wisdom that comes from the evil one, and there is a wisdom that comes from God. And these are the different types of wisdom. And he reminds us that you and I should be seeking the wisdom of God. Because he said the wisdom that is selfish, the wisdom that is about anger or bitterness, the wisdom that is only out to please itself is truly and fully only coming from the evil one. And then he gives this list to us. If you want to know if you're using godly wisdom and whether you're using it right, James gives some qualifications in verse 17 and 18. He says that true godly wisdom is pure, peace loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and sincere. And then he adds that peacemakers sow peace in righteousness. So as we wrap up today, I want you to look into your own lives and ask, what kind of wisdom are you seeking? What kind of wisdom are you growing in? And what kind of wisdom are you following? Those are three things that you should consider. In other words, are you using godly wisdom in your life, or are you using things for selfish reasons? Are you following people and hanging around with people and who are encouraging godly wisdom? And are you using the godly wisdom that you've been given in a godly way? These are questions we should constantly ponder and ask ourselves. It's easy for us to fall into judgmental situations. It's easy for us to, stop submitting to one another in love. It's easy for us to want our way over others' ways. But the truth of the matter is, we all must follow God and seek godly wisdom. I hope today that you are seeking godly wisdom and we serve a God who forgives and will restore if we get off track. Thankfully, we have that to look forward to. And so today I encourage you to journey this life and to help one another along the way. Blessings on the journey.
That's today's Devo on Deep Treks. No matter how deep the questions or dark the doubts, there's always a path forward. Reach out at deeptreks.com with prayer needs or topics you'd like us to
On the journey.